now I'm going to introduce you to Ian Siegel. He's the co-founder and CEO of ZipRecruiter. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Nice. Wow, thank you. It's nice to be here. I don't do a lot of these talks because we've had our heads down and we've been very busy. But my favorite people in the world are other entrepreneurs. So there's two groups of people I say I never judge. Parents and CEOs, because both jobs are so hard that I never want to put my judgment on the people who do them. So I'm going to share with you what I believe is the best way to build a large customer base. And I encourage you to take from this whatever you find valuable. If you want to talk to me afterwards, I would love it. I feel like I learn something every time I talk to fellow entrepreneurs. So, how many people here have heard of ZipRecruiter? Oh, awesome. That's great. Wow. Oh, we can skip the first section. Let me tell you who ZipRecruiter is. So, I had been serially working for internet startups in the LA area for north of 15 years before I finally worked up the courage to start my own business. And like I suspect many of the people in this room, I started my business literally at the kitchen table. It was me and 3 co-founders. 2 are shown there. One of those is my son. And we bootstrapped our business for the first 4.5 years that we were in business. We never took a dollar of outside money. We ultimately grew from those first 4 of us all the way to around 90 employees, at which point 4.5 years in, we were doing tens of millions of dollars of revenue and millions of dollars of profit, and we finally raised our first Series A, which was a $63 million round in August of last year. For those that don't know what we do is relatively straightforward. If you are an employer and you are looking to hire somebody, we let you post to north of 100 job boards with 1 submission, and then all the candidates come into one easy-to-review list. Simple, right? In 2011, we had 3,000 customers on our platform. This year, we will have 100,000 customers on our platform. We currently have more than 75 people whose whole job it is to keep customers happy. Supporting those 75 people, we have a multitude of software, which we spend millions of dollars per year on to inform the efforts of those 75 people. We enable everyone in our company with a tremendous amount of data on who our customers are and what problems they're trying to solve. However, the truth is that for the majority of our company's life, and remember, we're only 5 years old, we didn't have any of that. So the question is, how did we get so big, right? I'm going to walk you through what, after careful thought and many hours of preparation on this deck, I believe was the 6-step recipe to growing our customer base to such a large size. Here is my #1 piece of advice. Identify what makes you special. I can't stress enough this point. If you want to build a large customer base, it starts with how you market. Your marketing is what sets the tone for the entirety of the relationship that you're going to have with that customer, and I promise I will prove this to you. If you don't do this part right, none of the rest of my advice matters. Let me ask you all a question. What does your business do? Think about it. I want everyone to take 15 seconds and just think about, if you had to describe your business to me right now, how would you describe your business to me? Got it? I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to quote myself. Your business may do many things, but there is only one thing that defines you in the minds of your customers. Which world-famous bakery is this? I promise you that every single person in this room knows which bakery this is. Can you look at that bakery counter and tell me which bakery it is? Of course you can't. You have no idea because it looks just like every other bakery counter you've ever seen, right? But I promised you know who this is. Guess who it is? It's Dominique Ansel, the inventor of the cronut. You know who it is now? You guys heard of the cronut? This guy got worldwide media coverage for inventing a hybrid croissant donut. His entire identity is the cronut. He is the cronut bakery. You may go buy other stuff from that bakery, but I assure you, you refer to it as the cronut bakery. Real quick, off the top of your head, what does Google do? Anyone? What does Google do? Search, right? Nobody, I bet, said the biggest mapping, email, and web browser company in the world, right? That didn't pop into anybody's head. We just say Google is a search engine. They can do a lot of other stuff, but their identity is only one thing. I assure you that that carefully crafted, overly simplistic definition of what ZipRecruiter was for all your benefit is not the magnitude, does not represent the scope of what my company actually does. We do an amazing array of technological wonders to help you with not only your recruiting and vetting process of candidates, but we've now taken it all the way through to onboarding, which is the offer letter, and getting them enrolled in benefits, and even hooking into your payroll. But guess what? I didn't talk to you about it at the front, and I will never talk about any of it in our marketing. It doesn't matter. That's not the identity that I have with my customers. We figured out early on that there was one feature that our customers thought of us as, and that is the feature that we market. We proved it to ourselves in a very quantitative way. How many people here have run a Google AdWords campaign? Anybody tried to SEM their business? Excellent. What a phenomenal clarifying exercise it is to try to write in 20 words or less what your business does and induce people to click on your ad. That will teach you real fast what people think about your business. We tried Hiring Company 2.0, hire better candidates, the fastest way to get a new hire into your office. Guess what worked? Post to 100 job boards with one click. That's it. 30% higher click-through rate. We have spent 5 years trying to beat that one sentence. That is the first ad I ever wrote for this business, and it is so far indomitable. Don't have a business you can run SEM for? Here's what I recommend. Everyone in this room, I guarantee you, has data that you can learn from about your business. Whether you're running a service business, or you're running a restaurant, or you're running a laundromat, if you go look at your P&L, you're going to see something jump off the page at you as the #1 thing you sell. I strongly encourage you to customize your marketing, to tailor your message to your customers, to get really specific. You want to tell them what it is they should care about in your business. Once you have identified the thing that makes you special, you want to be pointy with your marketing. You want them to think, as is the case with this Bigham Tavern, who I actually went and looked at online. And they have more than 50 menu items in addition to something like 100 beers on tap. But this is the place where you get Pittsburgh's best hamburger, right? That is their marketing. That is the identity and expectation they are trying to set with you. And there are no limits to the number of ways that you can own an idea. Look at Chipotle. How many people have Chipotle in their market, right? What is Chipotle? Oh, it's the non-GMO, food with integrity, no chemicals. It's the healthy alternative to the McDonald's and the Subways out there, right? I can't stress enough that once you decide what it is that you think makes you special, you want to say that 100 different ways, and you want to say it everywhere. You want to put it on your business card, because there is a really simple rule that we live by at ZipRecruiter, which is you are going to do a lot of things, but you don't have to be good at all of them. Nobody expects you to be great at everything, but you better always be great at the thing you pick. How many people saw Brian Lee and Jessica Alba speak today, right? Okay, what do they sell? Anybody? What do they sell? They sell diapers, they sell sunscreen, they sell, no. They sell non-toxic, safe for your kid products. That's what they sell. The only thing they absolutely 100% have to make sure of, no matter what product they bring out, is that it is safe for your children, because that is the product that they have defined. All right. This is going to sound really obvious, but I promise I'm going to go a little deeper. We at ZipRecruiter have always talked to our customers immediately. And there's a couple different ways you can talk to customers immediately. So I really want to clarify this point. There is that experience we all have when we walk into a Gap and there's some person who's staring at us like we're a potential shoplifter who says hello to us to let us know that they are watching us. That is not talking to your customers immediately, okay? We have also had the experience where we walk into some sort of retail store and someone starts to aggressively try to pick out clothes for us to wear to push as much product on us as possible. That is also not talking to your customers immediately. Each of those is an action that has some alternative intent. Here's what I mean. From the very beginning of our business, we felt like we wanted to talk to our customers in a natural language fashion. We wanted to treat the people that we did business with like we were standing in the room with them. So when I say talk to your customers immediately, how would you talk to me if I was your friend and I walked into your party? You say, you want a drink? OK, great. No, not right now? OK, great. We'll do it later. Here's the email we have been sending for 5 years. We did this when there were 4 of us, and we do it now when there's 300 of us. It's simple. It's not my name anymore. It used to be my name. But it says this. Hello, I saw you just signed up. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help. That's it. We get a shocking level of response to this email. Do you know why? Because we didn't try to sell them anything. We spoke to them in a natural language fashion. We have subsequently turned this into something of a science. So now we do an onboarding call where we actually do reach out to every new customer, but we are really specific in what you are allowed to do on that onboarding call. And we put the reps who do this through an extraordinary amount of training. And it's follow these 3 simple rules. The only thing you're allowed to do is listen to the problem that the customer is trying to solve. You have to be honest about whether or not we can solve that problem. I work in a category where we can't always control the results. Guess what? If you are trying to hire an engineer in San Francisco, it is really hard to do that on job boards. It is really hard. So if somebody calls us and says, I want to hire an engineer in San Francisco, we tell them, you will be lucky to get 4 candidates. And I tell my team, that's great, because you're telling them that this channel is not viable for them. This is actually saving that business owner time. You are letting them know that they may need to get a recruiter or find some alternate means. That information alone has value and improves our brand. And then finally, the only thing they're allowed to do is consult, never sell. Never sell on the first conversation. And I put in some metrics here for you just to show you quantitatively the impact of this. It may seem like a small difference to you, but 74% of the customers who we do an onboarding call with, and we, of course, we split test, we A/B test everything, 74% versus 71% stay with us over the long term. And that very small delta has a $1.5 million impact on our business every year. OK, here is a big one. Only experts talk to customers. In the early days of ZipRecruiter, when there were only 4 of us, though my partners will protest too much, I took 99% of our customer support calls. Okay? I single-handedly was answering hundreds of calls a week. I knew the first 1,000 customers who signed up on our service probably by their first names and their business names and what jobs they were trying to fill and what jobs they had pending. I discovered that I had one sentence that was the most awesome conversation starter possible, the most genuine relationship-building sentence that I could utter. And ironically, when I first started taking the calls, I would feign that I was a customer support rep, someone unimportant in the organization, because I was worried that my customers would think that we were too small to do business with. I had this revelation while talking to one customer who ironically was asking to talk to my manager. And I then let out, I said, for the first time, actually, you're talking to the owner. And everything changed. Being the owner is great when you are talking to your customers. What I learned that day, and then I would subsequently make apparent as soon as I started talking to anyone from that point forward, is owners are like rock stars. Owners are the people you actually want to talk to in a business, because owners are where the buck stops. They know that the information you're giving is the most authoritative possible information about your business. They trust that you are an expert on your product. You should never hesitate to tell anyone you're an owner. What I see, because I now consult for a number of businesses, over and over again, is that the businesses I consult for throw new reps on the floor. And I don't know what the corollary in your industry is. I don't know if it's the counter worker or the register worker. They take somebody new and they say they're going to learn on the job. In my opinion, that is the absolute worst thing you can do for the brand of your business. In our rule, at ZipRecruiter, we have a very simple rule, which is only experts talk to customers. And to make sure you're an expert when we hire you, we put you through a 2-week training course that actually took us like 3 months to put together. We put a lot of thought into this, and we iterated after every class. And when you're done with that 2-week training course, when you spend your first week on the phone, every call you do is monitored. We do not let anyone talk to customers unless they can convey expertise. Because this may sound silly, but so much of who your business is are the people who actually talk to customers. We are the most knowledgeable company online at getting you candidates for your open jobs. I need every person who talks to you on the phone to demonstrate that expertise so that you believe it when you post your job. You know you got the best possible result that the web could yield. All right. This one's a little controversial. I warn you in advance. I'm going to start with some support for why I have the thesis I do, but you'll have to decide with this one whether you want to take it into your business or not. I suggest that you be assertive with support. And I will show you a company that practices what I am saying to prove to you that it is viable at scale. Okay? How many companies online sell shoes as their only business? How many? Anyone know? Can anyone name another company online that only sells shoes? Not many of you, right? How many people have heard of Zappos? A lot of people have heard of Zappos, right? Why is Zappos famous? What did they do? They sell shoes. They sell a commodity product that's available on 100 other websites. I'll tell you what they have. Presumptive customer service. How many people have ordered from Zappos and had the speed with which their shoes delivered upgraded automatically and a note sent to you saying, hey, just as a courtesy to you, we decided to get you your shoes faster? They spend $5 extra on an order to build one of the most impressive customer-centric brands online. It is such a cheap cost for so much brand equity, and they do it without asking you. That's the genius. They say, you came here to get shoes, we're going to get you shoes faster than you expected to get them. And that's how they've built their brand. So at ZipRecruiter, we have a corollary situation, a little bit more complex, and you'll have to decide how this fits in to your own business. But our customers are not job posting experts. I have a team of, I am not kidding, nearly 20 data scientists who study the job posting world. I have insights that are unimaginable for each and every one of you. How many of you would like me to stand in front of you now, stop the talk I'm giving, and start telling you how to write a job posting that works? Show of hands. Really? Wow, I'll do that next year. I was assuming that would be 0. Okay, that's a really boring subject. And none of you are going to probably be posting more than, say, 2 to 4 jobs a year. You could not possibly go to the job ad writing college that I could teach and retain enough information for it to be relevant to you. We tried, by the way. We really tried to get on the phone with our customers and walk them through all the incredible insights. I'll give you an example. Here's a fun one. Ready? Customer service rep, abbreviated with a period, in the job title will get you 23% less candidates than writing out customer service representative. Now, I know that's true because I have a data science team that mines that kind of insight. But your natural next question to me is, why is that true, Ian? And at that point, I have to say, I have no idea why that's true. I just know that that's what the data tells me. And that's a bad moment for me. I know things about job title, geography, formatting, your logo, the color palette you choose for your header bar on your job ad. I know so much. There is no way I could possibly take the time to teach each of the 100,000 companies that will use my service this year how to write exceptional job ads. So you know what we do? We just change your job ad. We just do it for you. This is where it gets controversial. This is where my legal team is a little uncomfortable. What we do, both through the data science insights and the tools that team has provided, and then through what I call a job optimization team, which now has, I think, 10 people on it who full-time just rewrite your job. They don't rewrite. I should say this differently. They reformat. Hey, here's a tip. Formatting's your friend. Your job seeker candidates are trying to read your job ads. But they do things to professionalize the look of your ad. And when we work on your ad, we can drive up the results by as much as 90%. 90% more candidates. And you know what we do after we make all these changes? We send you an email that looks like this, a ZipRecruiter courtesy email. Hey, just letting you know I corrected a misspelling in your job ad and optimized some of the formatting. If you want me to revert it back, let me know. Do you know how many people have asked us to revert the ads back? 0, which is what I tell my legal team. All right, guys, so here's the rule, and I don't know how you take it into your own business, but it's so easy to do more than your customer expects, especially if you know, because you set it up in your marketing, what that customer's expectation is. You're telling them what success looks like, and then whatever the thing is that they're coming to you for, do it a little better. That's it. Just spend a couple extra dollars on every order. You will be shocked at how well that pays back for you. So there is a very popular description of a team in SaaS businesses, and I don't want to give a lecture on software as a service, but there's this notion of customer success versus customer support. And really the difference is simple. Customer support is all inbound. Your customers are reaching out to you when they have a question or a problem. Customer success is outbound. It's an activity that you engage in. It's a smile and dial. It's calling up a customer to check in with them and to let them know either about a feature of your service they're not taking full advantage of, or a consult on their job ad to let them know that you're optimizing their ad for them. This is the definition of proactive customer service. It's really simple, and a lot of people make this sound fancy. I'm just telling you, don't wait for your customers to call you. Figure out who your most valuable customers are and call them first. They will appreciate it. Okay. Operating with a goal of inbox 0. Back in the early days, when there were only 4 of us sitting around the kitchen table, this is another co-founder's kitchen table, so for the very eagle-eyed out there, you'll notice this is the second kitchen table I'm showing you. We were dealing with more than 1,000 inbound support contacts per week. And I should probably give a whole other talk about when is the right time to hire, because we were not good at that. I was taking calls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I was talking to East Coasters who were calling as early as 4 a.m., and I was talking to West Coasters until 10 at night. My family hated it, but every customer was so precious, and we were bootstrapping our business, so every dollar mattered. I didn't want to post customer support hours. I loved talking to customers. I couldn't believe this many customers wanted to talk to us. I was exhilarated by talking to customers, but it was a problem. So what did I do? I did the same thing I've actually done at every business prior to this, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I started logging, what are the reasons they're calling me? What frequency am I hearing the same question? And I want to dig in on one of the biggest problems that we had initially, which is, why didn't I get a candidate from every job board? It was almost 20% of all those 1,000 customer support contacts a week were customers asking me this one question. And do you know why they were asking me this question? Because in our interface, if you look at this candidate, there is a source. Do I have the ability to move a cursor? Nope. There is a source 4 rows down, right below applied, and it says google.com in this case. There you go. Yeah. And you can see that we were showing the source to the customer. And what they would say is, hey, Ian, I got 16 candidates, and you told me you posted it to 100 job boards. Did you really post it to every job board? And the answer was, absolutely. But I was suddenly in an awkward position, because the only way to tell them the truth about why they didn't get a candidate from every job board was to start potentially disparaging my incredibly important job board partners. Because the truth is, not every job board is equal, and not every job board is your job going to get a candidate response from. And so we started coming up with all kinds of creative technology solutions for this problem. We said to ourselves, let's write a spider to go find this person's job ad on every single one of those job boards. And then we'll send them a report by email so they can see and click the links to see their ad on every one of these sites. But then we said, hey, we're adding like 3 new job boards a week. That's going to be really difficult to maintain over time. What if they change the format of their sites? That's going to be even more work. And we're sitting there scratching our heads and scratching our heads. And while we were having the conversation, my designer solved the problem. Nope. That was supposed to be a graphic of the source gone. Would have been a real ta-da moment, let me tell you. Don't know what happened here. So what he did is he took out the source. He just removed the feature. He hid where the candidates came from. And guess what? Overnight, 20% reduction in our customer support calls. That's right. We took a feature away to reduce the number of customer support calls we got, and our customers didn't care. You know what we learned? Once you post to 100 different job boards, they don't really care which job board the candidates came from. They just care where they get candidates. You want to piss off somebody? Post their job and give them 0. That's the only thing that really pisses somebody off. Don't be afraid to simplify your business. This is my mantra. This was my mantra before I ran my own business. This is what I would do at other twice, 2 times, I have been hired to be the fix-it guy at a business that had traction but was not gaining scale. I was the hyper-growth product expert and brought in and sold as the product expert. And what is the bias that everyone in this room has? The bias that I think every entrepreneur has is I'm a builder. I build things. I built my business. I created something from nothing. Version 1.0, that's the thing that takes will and courage. I am the person who has the ability to do that. And so when it comes time to grow your business, you think, what else can I build? And do you know what I did at both jobs, at both the turnaround situations I went into? I reviewed all of the features of all the products they had, and they started turning things off. That's all I do. I start turning things off. Because you'd be amazed at the power of simplicity. You would be shocked. There are a lot of businesses that do very little and do very well. Anyone ever been to In-N-Out? It's a pretty good restaurant, right? They don't think about what new hamburger they can bring out. They're doing just fine. You guys ever heard of Henry Ford? He's got a famous quote. I really like this quote. We are so focused at ZipRecruiter on not bringing out new features that we have a set of criteria we go through, which is if we're going to bring something out and we're going to train all of our existing customers on it and all of our customer support team, and we're going to bear the technical debt of supporting that feature and its interoperation with all the rest of our website, it better appeal to at least 20% of our customers. That's the rule. It's simple. Because features have cost. Products on shelves have cost. New menu items have cost. The reality is, the simpler you can make your business, the easier it is to run your business. So I encourage all of you to find as many ways as possible to measure your business. We are quants. We have 6 different tracking devices internally. But for, as I told you, a lot of our history, we didn't have any of that. And I will tell you, the best tool you have at your disposal is writing down the questions you get at the counter. Because if you ask customers what they want done to your product, you will get 100 different answers. But if you start logging the questions they're asking you about your current product, it will clarify your roadmap in a hurry. It will tell you what parts of your business you need to focus on. And ideally, it's going to create the best possible relationship with your customer. It's because when you take away a complaint, they already came to you because you made them a specific promise. Remember, you told them what success was. Now you're getting them even more focused on that one thing that you claim to be the best at. All right. Create an ongoing dialogue. This is a fantastic time to be alive as a business. Of course, we all have a customer support form or a complaints box or a suggestions box. I don't know what the corollary in your business is. This is the most passive way that you can talk to customers. And in most cases, in my opinion, it's the start of a negative conversation. So I'm saying this is table stakes. Of course, every one of us should do this. But there is so many 100% free devices at your disposal today to create a relationship with your customers that literally could not have been done as recently as 5 years ago. Now, I'm not going to tell you what we do at ZipRecruiter because we spend a lot of money on this and we have an elegant CRM system and I have literally an entire team of people whose whole focus is creating this ongoing relationship. So this is a point where I'm going to step aside from my personal experience and I'm going to tell you about a friend, okay? I know the owner of the Juice Ranch in Santa Barbara. The Juice Ranch is a pressed juicery that's run out of a 450 square foot retail space. They do $1.1 million a year in juice sales. They do $0 in marketing. They do not have a customer success team. They do not have a customer support team. How do they sell so much juice? Here's how they do it. They created an Instagram account. And this Instagram account is a marvel of marketing prowess, in my opinion. They take glorious photos of the two owners walking on the beach, of a half-drunk juice bottle, again, on the beach. Every time I look at their Instagram, I feel like I want to drink some juice. And further, they encourage every single person who comes into their store to follow them on Instagram. And then what happens? If you go to their Instagram page, it is a litany of dialogue between the two owners of this business and the customers who drink their juice. It's 100%. I think they have more fun with this than running their actual business. And that's fantastic for everybody. There are so many of these opportunities available. Whether you take your LinkedIn page or your Tumblr or your Facebook, there are countless social networking opportunities for you guys to ask your customers to lean in and then for you to provide real human interaction with them. Not marketing emails, not product announcements, just like, hey, I'm feeling good today. Here's a picture of some juice on the beach. I think this is the best brand equity that you can get because it creates an identity for you as a business. And I think that's something that's available to everybody in this room. Thank you very much.
Need that mic, though. I'll just pump it out.
Shoot it.
When you guys started with the four gentlemen, at what point did you guys decide it was time to hire that first employee? And which employee did you decide was the most important component or the most important person to hire?
So we tossed and turned. We debated and debated for probably 2 weeks before we hired our first customer service rep. And it was me ultimately putting my foot down because, as I said, I was taking 99% of the calls. And my partner's like, what? It seems manageable. And I said, I can't live this way. It's starting to negatively impact my life, and this is supposed to be a lifestyle business. And it was a revelation. It was literally the maturation of the four founders in terms of our perspective. We started hiring like crazy. Everything we didn't want to do anymore, we hired somebody to do. That was like a game for us.
I've got a question. Is this even on? Okay. So I just wanted to see what your thoughts were about running an e-marketing campaign. I've just done everything organically via Instagram, Facebook, but I wanted to think about doing like MailChimp blast outs, and I was worried about maybe annoying customers. What's your thoughts on growing your business that way?
So
Getting customers to come back.
I'm going to tell you the truth, which is every time you send an email, you're going to piss off a tiny fraction of your customers who will express that frustration by unsubscribing from any email you will ever send again. That will be substantially outweighed by the enormous amount of money you make every time you send an email. And the real trick is knowing how much mail to send, because the temptation will become to press the send button over and over and over again. You have to think. It's funny, we have a couple rules. One of the rules is like, who's allowed to use ZipRecruiter, right? We post to 100 job boards. What companies do you allow to post or not post? We get a lot of like webcam model ads where people, they're doing some dodgy stuff, but they're real jobs, right? So who are we to judge? We are someone to judge. It's our company. We make the decision. So, for example, there we have a rule, which is if we wouldn't want our kids to do the job, we don't let them use the service. That's how we do it. That's our rule, okay? And when it comes to email marketing and how frequently we communicate to our customers, we have a similar rule, which is how many pieces of mail would we want from any one company in a month? That's our threshold for how much mail we will allow to go out from our business. Yep.
So just trying to get back to what you had said earlier regarding like social media and Instagram and Facebook for certain companies. The juice, for example, is an actual product, but if you're a service-based company or service-based industry, like taxation or whatever it is, how effective do you think those types of things would be in that sense? Like, I mean, you can't really Instagram, paper, for example, or whatever it is. So,
What's your industry?
like taxation or like.
Taxation? Are you kidding me? No, I'm just saying you have one of the greatest opportunities in history to start an Instagram account and become an authoritative agent on the Affordable Care Act and tell people what the tax consequence potential for their business. Do you know that you could face penalties of up to $10,000 per employee if you aren't abiding by all the rules of the Affordable Care Act? Or maybe you want to let them know, like, hey, here's the best practice for getting ahead of tax season. I don't believe there is a category or an industry where you can't communicate with your customers effectively, because remember, you're not selling them something. All you're doing is sharing information that they may find interesting, and that's really key. If you use your Instagram account to say, hey, I've got a special discount on your taxes this week, that's not the right way to do it. It's like you're having a conversation with the person in the room, and if you happen to get around to your product at some point, so be it, but that's not the goal.
Hi, I was really excited to hear about how you got your customers engaged and was interested about ZipRecruiter's customer loyalty program, if they had one, to really connect with happy customers and how they helped your marketing.
We don't run a loyalty program, so depending on what you mean by that, are you saying like a reward?
VIP customer program or something like that.
Yeah, so the truth is, and I didn't put it into this presentation, we do a lot of lead scoring. So when you come in, we assess what your theoretical value is, and there's always a finite number of resources. And so what we do is we have a customer success team who spends a lot of time account managing those businesses that have theoretical higher value. But what we try to do is just be so useful that we don't actually have to induce. So like if you're a pressed juice bar, you may need a loyalty program because that's the buy 11, get your 12th free kind of thing. It's an inducement to come back. When you need to hire, you need to hire. I can't increase your need to hire. And when you need something that we need to hire, all I can be is as good at that as possible. I'm sorry, I feel like I didn't really answer your question, but.
If you have super happy customers and they enjoy leveraging your brand, can you find a way to recognize them in a formalized way?
Right. Yes. So now I understand your question. No. We actually did a series of small business awards. So we recognized those employers that were growing the fastest in a wide variety of categories and that were leveraging our platform to do it. And we gave them a lot of free publicity, both on our blog, and then we did some interviews. And so yes, but that is an area where we are not great, to be honest with you.
I have a two-part question. So when you began hiring employees, what platform did you use?
It's always been ZipRecruiter.
Okay, and when you use ZipRecruiter, when you use your own business, did you learn anything from using it?
Oh my goodness, I am not from the HR category. I learned so much, so fast. I mean, the reality is that, I'll tell you something. We started with the headline on our website, never use a recruiter again. And then after the first 3 months that we were in business, I looked at our customers, and all these names were like Joe's IT Staffing, Bill's Recruiting Firm. And I said, holy crap, like 20% of the customers using our service is recruiters. And we very quickly took that out of our headline. And when we first launched, I didn't throw this into the story, we were sending ourselves an email every time a new customer signed up. And the first day, it was like magic. Like emails just started to come in really fast, like one of those commercials, those too good to be true stories, like bang, 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 bang. And I was like, oh my God, this business is going to be a gold mine. I think 95% of the companies that initially signed up on ZipRecruiters were either spammers or scammers, because we're like a honeypot. Like, oh my God, if I want to defraud job seekers, what a great tool, and they're so new. No, they don't have any security. We actually spent 9 months building sheriff software to try and algorithmically and then support a team that does nothing but manually review every company and every job ad that gets posted to make sure that they're not abusing the job seeker population. And that wasn't a way of me avoiding your question, by the way, because I know you're asking how did ZipRecruiter do it. I have a really simple rule for hiring, which is the first thing we try to do is hire people we know. That's, of course, what I recommend everybody do. The second thing we try to do is promote internally. That's another fairly common practice. And then the third thing we do is we try to post the job through ZipRecruiter, and if it doesn't work, you know what we do? We use a recruiter. That's what we do.
No, the main question was if you learn anything from actually using your own product.
Oh my goodness. I mean, the art of eating your own dog food, I did not invent this expression, but it is so true. I learned about how difficult it was to create a strong-looking job ad, or how many questions I had in the process about where should I post this job. Should I post, if I'm hiring in Santa Monica, should I post the job in Marina del Rey, Santa Monica, and Venice? Or should I just post it in Santa Monica? Will that work? I don't know. Let's try it. Let's find out. At this point, I wasn't exaggerating about the 18 data scientists. We have spent years studying this data to try and draw conclusions. It is not something that I believe a human brain could have parsed on its own. So the answer is yes. Our product got better and easier to use because we were using it, and then over the long term, the insights that we were able to glean from so many users are now being passed back to the users on that platform.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Silas Green. My question to you is, I know you do a lot of work in helping getting these great recruits to these customers, but have your customers ever asked you or sought information from you guys on how to evaluate the people you send to them?
So he's asking if we've ever put any sort of a screening or a filtering software in place, and the answer is we did briefly. For 1 month, we used a product called Bright. It was a third-party product that did an algorithmic scoring of the job candidates' qualifications on their resume, and then it matched it to the job description. It seemed very elegant, and what we learned really quickly is that people love the idea, and then there is immediate distrust because it just takes one candidate who they liked getting scored low or one bad candidate getting scored high for them to completely lose faith and abandon the product. So we moved away from that, and then ironically, you probably don't follow the class action lawsuit world, we got sued for that 1 month that we had that product on. It was called a FCRA violation, and I don't want to get into the legal parlance around this, but needless to say that any sort of a scoring algorithm that we would apply to candidates who came in has tenuous legality, and you will probably not be seeing that from us or any other job board in the near future.
I have a question on surveys. What's your opinion on surveys, especially if you have recurring customers with you on an ongoing basis? That way they can...
Yeah, his question is about surveys, and I've been doing surveys for 20 years, and I will tell you that I feel like it's like going to the Oracle and asking for advice, and it's all about where you put the comma. And by that I mean, over and over again, the way the question is written in the survey seems to have more of an impact on your ability to interpret the result than the answers that are provided by your customers. That's why I use look at the calls and questions that come into customer support rather than the way you're trying to phrase something back to your customers for direction on your product roadmap. Their questions about where they're running into problems is a much better place to focus than trying to write something that can anticipate what customers want. I'll give you an example. We asked our customers if they would like background checks, because we are, of course, a hiring company, and that is logical that we should have a background check on our service. And it was the #1 surveyed, featured, requested product, though it had never been a request to our customer support team. We deployed it. After 9 months, less than 1% of our employer base was using the background checks. So because we are disciplined operators, we actually took it off our website. We remove features. This, by the way, kills my PR team because I want to do a press release all the time about how we've made our site simpler by taking stuff off of it instead of announcing a new feature. And we're still engaged in a battle about whether this is good tactics or not. They think that makes us look like a bad company. I'm like, that's the company I would want to work with. Nevertheless, flash forward a year, and we launched this onboarding tool for new hires where you can send an offer letter and the tax documents and so forth. And guess what? Suddenly, of the first 3,000 users on that platform, the #1 requested feature we got to customer support is how do I run a background check? So we have reintroduced background checks to our service because now we have deployed the right product so that it has the right timing for someone to actually want to use that product.
My question was on, it's kind of different where manufacturing would be our business. So we talk to customers and we have like multiple products, kind of like services rather than products. So when you're talking to a customer, what are kind of the 3 questions that you would say that you can ask to more quickly filter, you know, potential customers than
So how do
know
you
which ones
qualify
are
or lead score those
exactly.
customers? I mean, this goes back to knowing what you are the best at. So you
Right.
say you're in manufacturing, and what is your claim to fame? Like, I manufacture plastic items in 3 weeks or less, whatever it is, so that you have a more narrowly defined primary skill set. So when you're talking to a customer, you have something you can point to. I really fundamentally feel that every business only sells one thing, and you get to decide what that thing is in your customer's mind. So if, as far as qualifying goes, I think that it's important for you to talk first and say, this is what we do. Now tell me what the problem is that you're trying to solve, because that lets you know whether or not this is going to be a good fit relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.